You ever had that moment? That eerie feeling? You can't quite put your finger on it, but something doesn't feel right. You brush it off, say it's just stress, or maybe you're overthinking, but the gut doesn't lie. The mind might ignore, justify, reason, even play dumb. But the soul knows. That space in your chest that aches when you're not being told the whole truth. That quiet voice that whispers, pay attention. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's just the absence of what used to be there. The absence of warmth, the absence of honesty, the absence of presence. Let's not kid ourselves. Cheating is not always about the act, it's about the shift. The shift in energy, the shift in loyalty, the shift in emotional availability. And a woman, especially a woman, when she cheats, she leaves signs, subtle ones at first, but they grow. They become patterns. And the truth, no matter how long it takes, always comes home. To see society is quick to point fingers at men when it comes to cheating. It's the age-old narrative. But women are expected to be loyal to a fault, forgiving to a fault, silent to a fault. So when a woman strays, people act like it's unimaginable, like it must be his fault, like she must be pushed to the edge. But let me tell you something. Choices are still choices. And a woman who cheats doesn't just wake up one day and fall into someone else's arms. She makes a series of choices. She builds a secret world brick by brick. And in doing so, she always leaves 3 undeniable signs. Let's talk about the first one, emotional detachment. This one is insidious because it starts slowly. You used to be her safe space, her diary, her person. She used to tell you everything, what annoyed her during the day, what made her laugh, what she's afraid of. And then suddenly the conversations become surface level. You ask how her day was, and she says, fine. You ask what's on her mind, and she says, nothing. But you can feel the wall, that invisible wall that wasn't there before. And it's not that she's not talking. It's that she's talking somewhere else. You see, emotional cheating often comes before physical cheating. When a woman begins to share the most sacred parts of her soul with someone else, her dreams, her disappointments, her fears, she starts to slowly close the door on the connection she once had. And the most painful part, sometimes she doesn't even realize she's doing it until she's too deep, until she looks forward to those other conversations more than the ones at home, until her laughter becomes more genuine in someone else's company, until she finds herself hesitating when you call. And the real tragedy, a woman will often try to justify it to herself. It's just a friend. He gets me. It's not like we've done anything. But the bond has shifted. The loyalty has shifted. And the moment she starts protecting that new connection, hiding it, minimizing it, defending it, the emotional cheating has already begun. You'll notice she starts becoming less present. She's there, but she's not there. Her body is beside you, but her mind is far. Her energy withdrawn. And energy doesn't lie. You feel it when someone's heart is no longer with you, when they're giving their best self somewhere else and leaving only the shell behind. The second sign, sudden privacy. Now don't get it twisted. Everyone deserves privacy and secrecy. There's a difference between having personal space and building walls to hide what's inside. A woman who is cheating or even contemplating it starts changing her habits. Her phone, which used to be left face up, is now always face down. Notifications are silenced. Passwords change. She starts taking calls in other rooms. Text messages that used to make her smile, she now hides. And if you ever ask a question, suddenly you're the one being accused. Why are you so insecure? Don't you trust me? The deflection is strong because deep down she knows something isn't right. Sudden privacy isn't just about the phone, it's about behavior. She starts going out more, working late, making plans you're not part of, and when you ask to join, there's hesitation. It's just for friends. It's nothing special. But she's dressing differently, paying more attention to how she looks, smelling different, not always wearing the scent you remember. A woman who is loyal doesn't need to be watched. Her movements speak for her. Her consistency is her alibi. But when her routine becomes erratic, when she starts keeping parts of her life in the shadows, that's a sign. Not because you're possessive, not because you're insecure, but because you can feel the shift. And here's the thing about secrecy. It creates distance, emotional distance, physical and spiritual distance. You stop being part of her world and stop becoming a stranger in her life. And slowly she becomes someone you no longer recognize, someone who feels like a guest in your home, someone who tiptoes around the truth and pretends everything is fine, even when the energy says otherwise. And the third sign? Defensiveness or disinterest. Now, this one is tricky because it can go either way. Some women become overly defensive. Every question you ask turns into an argument. Every concern becomes an accusation. Suddenly, you're the problem. You're too controlling. You're too suspicious. You're overthinking. And in the chaos of these arguments, the real issues get buried. The truth gets lost in the noise. But others, they just shut down. Stop arguing altogether. Stop caring. And that's even more dangerous because it means they've emotionally checked out. Nothing you say moves them anymore. You could scream, cry, beg, and still you get nothing. A blank stare, a cold shoulder, a heart that's no longer in the room. Disinterest is subtle but suffocating. It's in the way she stops asking about your day, stops showing affection, stops trying. The intimacy fades. Not just physically, but emotionally. You feel it when she avoids eye contact, when she no longer laughs at your jokes, when she no longer lights up when you walk in the room. That spark is gone. And it doesn't matter how many dates you plan, how many times you try to talk, you're always met with indifference. And you know why that happens? Because someone else has occupied the space you used to hold. Someone else is giving her what she craves. Attention, validation, novelty. And when she begins to feel fulfilled elsewhere, your presence starts to feel like an obligation, a chore, something she tolerates rather than treasures. Now let's be real. Not every woman who cheats shows all three signs. Some are skilled at hiding, some are experts at living a double life, but no matter how well the facade is maintained, the truth leaves clues. It always does. Because you can't fake energy, you can't fake connection, and you certainly can't fake love, not for long. So, what do you do when you see these signs? You don't beg, you don't chase. You don't compromise your dignity for half-truths and late-night apologies that lead nowhere. What you do is listen, not just to her words, but to her actions. You observe, you reflect, you protect your peace. Because let's face it, sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes loyalty isn't reciprocated. Sometimes the person you gave your best to is already giving their best to someone else, and that hurts. God knows it hurts, but pain is not the enemy. Pain is a teacher. It shows you who's real. It shows you what you need to heal. It shows you what you deserve and what you no longer have to accept. A woman who cheats may leave these three signs, but even before those signs appear, your intuition already knows. And if you ignore it, if you keep making excuses for behavior that breaks your spirit, you're not just losing her, you're losing yourself, and you deserve better. You deserve truth. You deserve presence. You deserve loyalty that isn't dependent on circumstances. Loyalty that's rooted in character. Loyalty that doesn't need to be policed. The kind of love that shows up, stays, and never makes you feel like you have to compete for attention. So to anyone who's ever felt that silent ache, that lingering suspicion, that unspoken distance, trust yourself. You're not crazy. You're not needy. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. And no matter how much you try to fix what's broken, you can't heal someone who doesn't see the cracks. You can't hold on to someone who's already let go. And you can't love someone out of disloyalty. You let go, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to stop settling for half love. Because love, real love, doesn't come with secrets. It doesn't come with lies. It doesn't come with asterisks and conditions. It shows up. It speaks truth and it stays even when no one is watching. The signs speak. Let the silence speak louder. And most importantly, let your soul decide when enough is enough.